But let's get into the woods. Let's get into creating. And I wanted to just go over what my plan is and get some feedback, see if it resonates, because I do have a plan, but I'm also a creator. And so I create as I go just as much as having, I do not, you know me, I do not just stick to a thing because I say so. Who, what? No, I don't listen to myself. So I, yeah. So let's look at that, and I can make some notes and whatnot, and then talk about materials if you had any questions. I'm just going to restart this baby again. Okay. So this isn't about drawing trees. And then if you want, I'll just spotlight so that you can see who's talking. Yeah, this isn't about drawing trees. I've done many classes that are drawing trees. And, no doubt if you haven't been in one of those classes, you've either done your own trees or will run into little tricks and whatnot. But instead of focusing on a tree, this idea is about the feeling of being in the woods. And in that, this idea that I have is a beyond representation. It's about capturing a feeling. So to start off with this session, I wanted to play on wood, unprimed wood. I suggested watercolor because it's a very gentle medium that I can have expectations, and I can share those, and so you can have some expectations. But I also would like for future sessions for it to be open. So if you want to get into acrylics or oils, that you can. And the idea is to talk about glazing as you get into other mediums, which watercolor is also a really good start for because it's transparent in it inherently. So that's today. I was like, let's just look at something abstracted like the forest floor. So I sent a photo out, and I promised that for each session, I will always provide a reference, and you are always welcome to choose your own. Okay. So that photo that I sent out with the forest floor is of a fallen tree in an area where I live. And one day I've stepped over this log many times. And one day I really truly looked down. And I went, oh, that is the most beautiful pattern. It's incredible. It doesn't even look like wood, but it does. Like all of the thoughts came in, I'm just like mesmerized by it. And now I can't get it out of my head. So there we go. There's lots of trees with wood grain that I could have sent you, but this tree that I ignored for so many months is just really wild. And yet we'll look at perhaps combining other elements. So I had sent you the link to a photo album that I've started and I'll continue to add to, where I've just thrown in elements like moss and mushrooms and textures. Okay. So being inspired by whatever grain is on your wood, it's a real living, it's not living anymore, but it is living. It's alive. We have to work with what is. So we'll be talking about that as we go, is working with the grain that we have inspired by other elements like photos. And then looking at just how the media reacts. So today is truly about the materials. Does anyone on that note have questions about the materials? Sweet.
I do kind of.
Yeah.
So the idea for today was to have some wood ready.
And raw, untreated wood.
Yeah, I do not have that, but I will for the next class.
Okay, that's okay. Paper is good.
Trees, paper. I see how you did that.
Another form of wood. For sure. That's okay, babe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If and you can get small panels for the next classes, right? It doesn't have
Yeah,
to
I'm
be
sure I
anything
might have
big.
them. I think I have a couple of birch panels back there somewhere, so I'll just have a look.
Yeah, if you excavate.
Yeah,
I have some large wood panels that I'm like, I don't want to get into that, especially when I have a camera and a desk a
yeah,
certain
yeah.
size. So I have poplar today because I had these. Like I went into a wood store and got like a big beam and had them cut down.
Cool.
And I've not really done a lot on this, so that's good for me because I've done enough work on birch that I can still guide you and I have those expectations. But for me, I get to be tickled. My fancy's tickled with just something a little bit more of a challenge. And I did notice that I busted the side here somehow, being because I'm not very gentle. Um, and yet that's okay. Like
Mhm.
so it doesn't need to be a perfect piece in any way. There's
Okay.
lots of different, if you have to buy wood, there's lots of different ways you can go about that. There's uncradled birch panels now at art stores, it doesn't have the frame backing on it.
Mhm.
Those are a little bit difficult to use in this manner because they do warp. So even though those are available, and I love them, I used to use them religiously for a while because they're thin and I could do a whole bunch of artwork and it not take up a lot of space. And then if you want to frame them, you just get uh,
Yeah.
another cradled panel or a frame, like stretcher bars, and mount it. So
Mhm.
there's so many options, but for the art stores having a cradled birch panel available, and then often they're reasonably priced. You could get a bunch of 6x6s
Mhm.
or something that's 12x12s, square
Yeah.
foot show. They're popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and yeah, you can also go to a hardware store and have wood cut. And that is a world that I'm just tapping into myself. I'm sure there's woods that will not deal well with being untreated. So before we leave today, we'll talk about next week preparing our wood and what our options are for that.
Mhm.
But I do want to and I don't, and this with watercolor, it's okay to use on wood raw. So is acrylic, but oil you have to prepare. And so we'll kind of, I'd rather get into that at the end of class so it's kind of sort of fresh in your mind to make notes. Um, but so that was why I suggested let's start with watercolor, and then just kind of see what happens. Because also, listen, I've done work on birch panel where it worked out really well once, and then the other time it didn't. Why? Because it's alive
Mhm.
and it doesn't always behave the same. So isn't that kind of wonderful, right? Like, in a sense, if you wanted to ever do a series of works and have predictability, wood may not be your surface unless you're treating it with something that's stable.
Mhm.
So it's kind of to me, an exciting surface for that gamble of how to have that conversation. And washi, when I worked with the Japanese paper place, to begin with, like my first endeavors of teaching for them, that was a big part of what I focused on in the class, was having that conversation with the surface because it's natural, handmade out of plants and shrubs and trees and stuff. So it is something of a back and forth. And however we can share that with each other, I'd love to. Like, even if it's just an expression, a verbal expression without words. See?
Mm. Mm.
Boudoir. Okay. Um, so then the next projects that I I hope tickle fancies is to look at kind of the forest floor, but where trees are coming up, and we can look at atmospheric perspective and negative space, because
Yeah.
everyone's always looking at the where the canopy meets the sky, and I'm like, wait a minute, huh? But we're down here. Like,
Mhm.
so what can we see and how can we connect with that? So that was my thought for next week. And then I'm like, okay, let's look at canopies as well, because we do look up in the forest. So that is definitely on the table. And then also looking at color temperature and moods. And that's been something in recent classes I found to be really helpful of changing the color palette. So Esther was in a recent class where we were looking at, whatever photo we have, which that could be a cool thing too. Why do we need a photo? So maybe the fourth or fifth class, we can do something a little bit more ad lib of what we know and feel by then. Maybe having a reference that is just there for a safety net. But yeah, to let go of all of that and say, how are we feeling about this? What's the narrative? So for today, I still want to explore color palettes, but that's sort of up to you. In my mind, as I was walking out this morning, like I was out for a walk, and I thought about the smell because it's been raining, and the umami and the richness and the deepness, and just because it's autumn, it was more greens and blues and cools and browns and stuff. So that's my feeling today. You can absolutely change to what you're feeling and need. So I'm going to log in here and see. So is anyone excited about any of those, or do you have any other suggestions I can jot down for projects that you were like maybe hoping for, or?
I'm just here for the learning.
Mm.
Same here.
I will serve you.
I know, that's why I do. I have no idea. I'm just here for the learning.
Yeah.
That's like a blind. It's like going to a restaurant, just saying like
Show me what you got.
Bring me what you want to bring me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've
And
done
I've done that.
Have you?
I have in Japan. I used my Google Translate to say whatever the chef suggests.
We do that too. And you know what? You're the chef, so you get to suggest whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just follow along.
So I can tell you that when I looked at this and saw a log in the grass,
Mhm.
and then I looked at it, just because of the work that we've been doing in classes building up. And the last one was kind of coordinated chaos. The lines and the scribbles and
With the expressive mark making.
yes, coordinated chaos. So what I saw was the chaos of the grass, and I could see that being a way to move forward was that chaos,
Mhm.
and then the very fluid movement in the wood. That's
Mhm.
kind of what I saw when I looked at it.
This could be an opportunity. I'm going to take myself off spotlight so that you can, if you are on view where you want to see who's talking. Yeah, so like the wood, let's look at maybe how the wood can be very minimal and just be, and then build up around it. We will discover how this surface will max out at some point, and yet maybe even if it could take more, we don't want it to.
Yeah.
Like to allow it to breathe.
Yeah.
Like a forest breathes.
Cool.
There is something strange about I think it's the Zoom app that's having a problem. Is anyone else here on their phone?
No.
I'm trying to do that for my television right now to see if it's going to work.
Yeah, because I had zero problems on my iPad, but the phone app is doing the weirdest glitches and like connecting where it's like, well, my iPad's working, so
Interesting. I got the phone to work on the TV, so that's something. Hey.
Well, I just saw you keep like logging in and out, and
Yeah, it was because I was logged in twice, once on the phone and once on the iPad. I'm trying to get you on the TV, but it's
you're allowed, and I hope you do because it is nice to see large. Okay, but it's this camera, you want to see large, right?
Mhm.
I'll spotlight when I get into the demo, which let's talk about. Actually, I want to share my screen for a minute and just show a piece that I did that was inspired 100% by the wood grain. And it was a fun little thing for myself. This was a piece we did in a spirit trees class, which when I was putting together the concept for today, it reminded me of this. This was all the textures and deliciousness in the forest, or that, it's up a tree, kind of abstract and random. But I really liked the idea of it doesn't have to be a composition today that, we stress about or work out. Today could just be little bits of things you love. And then this is a piece of birch panel. So this was a 12 by 12. And this was acrylic with water initially. So staining the wood, a lot of watered down acrylic, which is fine to use on wood. Okay. So the reason people suggest to prime acrylic is so that you're not wasting paint, because paint's expensive. The pigment is the expense. So a primer is made inexpensively, right? So that's why there's only certain colors available. So and then I didn't want to put clear gesso down because I really wanted the wood to swell and stain and bleed. So I was okay with using my paint in that way, and just so that you are, giving yourself permission, or if anyone says, well, you need to, gesso wood, acrylic's a plastic, so there's no technical reason why you can't, other than you're going to lose a lot of paint because it seeps into the wood, and then it actually looks very dull because you're washing away all of the acrylic polymer, and it ends up just looking a little bit dull. So then I built up with more layers of polymer and acrylic in with a liner, and just having fun, really. So if you're feeling like a rainbow, and this is something that inspires you, I thought this is as minimal as I'm expecting today, if your wood allows it, though, right? So that's another thing. So that was all I wanted to show there.
So then the wood, um, the idea is to expect and know that the wood is going to absorb,
Mm-hmm.
and that the watercolor is going to fade.
Yes.
So this is going to be a very atmospheric kind of.
Especially at first. So we'll get out our brushes and water and watercolors. So let's prepare for that. I don't think we need to do anything in our sketchbooks to prep. Okay, we'll just use our panel, even if it's a small one. We'll talk about as we go. I want to demonstrate how much water to add at first, because there is, you can soak it and then it would bloom and bleed the whole thing. But I'd like to talk about control, which is like a thing with watercolor that's very helpful for other mediums as well. It's how much ratio to use and how much water to use, depending on how much control you want. Like if you want to be surprised and you want it to bleed, you'll use more water. So I'll just get this sort of set up. I had printed out just a few of, just for myself, a few of these. So I'll leave this sort of out on my demo table if you, need some of those references at any point. I had pulled this off my wall. This is a birch panel. Do you love that ASMR? I'm not good at it, and I don't have big, long nails. But this is a study that was done in a group of 7 class. So this is Franklin Carmichael, and it was sort of open media, and his work was oil, I believe. But this was pure watercolor on the wood. All of that is just watercolor. And so how much pigment you add as well, you can get some very vibrant results. But then I also use charcoal and pastel on top. So that can also happen today.
Okay.
Depending on, I'm definitely bringing out charcoal. I think I'm personally just a little bit done with pastel right now because of other classes, but you are welcome to. And that is a matter of, this is where I give you the goods. It's the layering matters, is when to bring in things and why not now, why better later, or vice versa. So yeah, just I love this piece. I'll never sell it because it's a study. It's not my own work, but I love it. There's just something about watercolor on wood. It's not like it hasn't been done before. It's just not a very popular combination. So I've got out my Beam paints, and I think I'm just going to pull out like a very specific palette. Maybe like a bright and a muted, something vivid and earthy for each kind of color, like a yellow ochre and then a yellow. I like my metallic, so I'm doing a bronze and a gold. Burnt sienna, and then maybe an orange. Ooh. What's that? I don't know how bright I want to go. Maybe just do a couple of those. Okay, that's enough. Just so that I'm not like this is too much to have, and in my opinion, it's just a lot. They're there. I want them. That's me again. Maybe I have to delete the app. Hmm. Oh, maybe I'll just, okay. No, do that. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun. Okay. Round 3. What happened with the baseball game last night, guys?
Oh, you guys were ahead for a little bit before I went to bed.
You went to bed.
Those things go too long.
The Dodgers won
Okay.
because they're playing again in Toronto tonight. Or I mean, Toronto is playing again tonight.
In
Or I
Okay.
mean, are they playing in Toronto?
Yep.
Yep, one more game.
Oh,
Oh, okay. So last night wasn't such a big deal?
Well, it was a big deal because
Yeah.
the Blue Jays could have won the series,
Right.
mhm.
but now
It
it's
was a big
time.
deal.
So now
Because it
it's
was
time.
2. Now it's 3-3, right?
Okay.
Right. So we have
Yeah.
one more game that winner takes all.
All right. Thank you. Because maybe that's why no one was talking about it.
Everybody's just a little disappointed.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Honored for you guys. She has her boyfriend was from Vancouver in college and still keeps in touch with his mom. So yeah, she's rooting for you guys.
awesome.
For sure. Yeah.
Awesome. It's pretty exciting. It has been
Yeah.
exciting. The city of Toronto, it's madness. And
I bet.
Yeah, just madness. I think because it's so unexpected.
It's been a long time for
Yeah.
the Blue Jays.
So we had next to 0 kids at our door for Halloween yesterday. We got all kinds of candy we got to get through.
So this is why I asked, really, is that I heard a lot of people weren't doing
Yeah,
candy or stopped early.
we usually run out of candy in our neighborhood, and we didn't go through half of what we had. There's just nobody out. They're all, and that's okay too, because they're having parties at home and different things.
Right.
Here, somebody who has a blow up screen, and they were going to project the game on the side of their house while they were giving out candy. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
So
Well, also,
Yeah.
I have a question because I saw a little media thing on it. So Toronto
Mhm.
versus Toronto. How do you say it?
Toronto.
Toronto. OT at the end.
Just Toronto. Trono.
Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
No, Toronto, just Toronto.
Toronto.
It's because it's French, because in France they don't use the consonants at the end.
They were saying that's how they know. Well, one of the ways to know tourists when they're in the city is
They'll say it the wrong way.
Yeah.
When I travel, I say Toronto.
Yes.
But I don't at all, like, naturally, when I'm like, oh, because I am going to visit friends in a couple weeks, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I booked a train to Toronto. Like, it's just Toronto, and it's, I think it's like any familiar word that you say a lot, it just gets slurred. Lazy. Totally lazy.
Apparently it's pulled the country together. People all across the country are cheering
with the game. Yeah.
And I have friends in Calgary and Edmonton, and they're all cheering, and it's really brought out some patriotism that we lack sometimes. So
yes,
we're rooting for you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, we are too.
I think the Midwest, or at least like Michigan, everybody who over here who's connected somehow to Canada.
Well, there's lots of yelling at the screen going on in our house, and I'll be glad when it's over so I can sleep. Did anybody else stay up and watch the very long game?
My son did.
Yeah.
But
well, I went to bed in the 11th. I checked in on the 14th and then gave up.
Oh my gosh, what time did it go to?
3 a.m.
What?
It was 18 innings.
Oh my God.
6 hours, right?
Yeah.
6 hours.
Double of what normally.
8 o'clock till 3.
That's crazy.
It was wild.
Wow.
I'm going to spritz my watercolors. I suggest, if you can, it's a great way to just get them moist and activated. Hey, can I ask, is my audio okay with you guys?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, because I am getting a little bit of an echo. And I think I actually can maybe fix that side tone. So I'm going to do la 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 la. Aha. No, it's still there. All right, it's okay. It's not terrible. Okay. So, choosing the direction of your support is a personal thing, and so it's all about the wood grain. Now, I did crop this image, which again is just a launching point, right? It's not about the composition because it's basically 3 planes, which also isn't a bad composition, right? Because it's like, as long as we shuffle things off center just a little bit. So in that, I'm going to line up my grain so that it's just a little bit on the right, personally. I'm going to work with this grain, but I'm also going to be inspired by this grain, which to me feels like fabric or something. It's so curious. So when we want to block things in or get something started, you can use a charcoal pencil. I'm going to suggest we do it for trying things out. I don't think we need to. We could just go in with color, and we will. But I want you to also experience that when you paint over a drawn mark, it becomes permanent. So I just want you to know that these first lines are going to have to be amalgamated, integrated into the whole. So in that, mind your pressure. I see. Is that echo gone now? Okay, good. Oh, it was my phone. My phone! Throwing it out the window. Okay. So, how to hold your charcoal pencil. This is just a soft 4B charcoal pencil. Don't worry about the weight. You can explore various ones that you have. Just to start with one, but to really hold it kind of very loose and gesturally at this stage. I don't need to outline the grain in the wood because it's there. Thank you, wood. And so I'm going to look at some of the areas that I like. And just do, it's almost like a blind contour. This isn't like, oh, you cannot look or don't look, but just more looking at this and then to come and go, okay, well, now this is almost like a Zentangle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you can then go inspired by this because it's perfect.
Sharlena, what is a Zen tango?
Zentangle is a meditative pattern design. It's like what would you call it? Like people get together in groups and do Zentangles. There's now markers made specifically for it. If you look it up, Zentangle, like tangled hair, but Zen, Zen, tangle.
Right. Okay.
It's like a, it's not like a mandala where the pattern is all blooming out. It's just a constant evolution of design. Does anyone here do Zentangles? Could you explain it any better? It's fun. It's like a thing people do religiously sometimes. I don't know if it's still as hot as it used to be. It was a hot thing for a while.
It was the same as the stuff that you had another instructor come in and show us
Yeah, neurographics.
neurographics. So a lot.
Which neurographics are used for like therapeutic trauma, like conversations. And I wouldn't doubt that Zentangles are as well, because it in essence does a similar thing.
Jumping off.
So we don't need much, just kind of getting in. And this is just warming up really as well. It's like that variegated line. Variegation is the thin to thick. I'm also just like rolling my pencil in my hand a little bit, just getting the feel, the loosey-goosey feel. And I like to smudge, so I'm going to smudge. You do not have to, but I like to. And you can use a rag, your finger, a brush. And at this stage, you can also erase. So but just as we're working together, just be observant and curious about what is happening on your surface. So to look at, say, smudging, some of that charcoal getting into the grain and how that's revealing perhaps more of the texture than you thought was there. And I'm going to just do a very quick, large example of what a variegated line is with a big charcoal stick on a piece of paper, just to show variegation is thick to thin to thick again. So if you can play with not just that, but then also looking at in nature how things are organically curvy, but then they also can give you little blips, harder edges. And that's what we can really learn from this wood grain in the photo. I'm skipping around any nice wood grain on my surface. Just speaking some observations as I draw, I'm surprised at how barely I have to press to leave a mark. It's almost like, I mean, charcoal is made out of burnt wood or willow, and to feel that connection of this surface, we're drawing on the surface with the surface of another tree. And I can feel that they really like each other. Okay. Give yourself another couple minutes this is where I would suggest to, this is good enough as a beginning. And mind you, you can do a whole drawing on a piece of wood and then come in and do watercolor accents afterwards. Which maybe, you know what, maybe let's do a bit more drawing. Yeah. Because then when it's wet, you gotta let it dry for a little bit. Okay. Draw to your heart's content. I'm going to bring in a couple of things of the grasses, again, with that idea that it's chaos, but very gentle because it's also soft. So I don't want it to feel hard because the ground doesn't feel hard when you walk on it. This is my favorite kind of, like, I can't do Zentangles anymore or neurographics because it's too, and it's not like it's controlled, but you have an outcome. I like this, like la 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 la. This is healing. Meditating. Okay. So I really love dark charcoal. So I have a compressed charcoal stick here. I was looking at this image before and I was like, there is, to show that depth, there is a shadow on the edges, but the wood in itself is dark. So that's kind of a tricky challenge. So I'm going to come in with my compressed charcoal and just here and there give an edge and explore how that smudges out. And I would try erasing. I would suggest you try erasing because different woods will allow you to erase mostly back. You'll still see some stain of the pigment because it's in the grain. But some woods are like, nope, I like all that you put there and I'm keeping it. So it's good to know that about your wood in the beginning. You can always test on the back as well.
Oh,
Um, ooh. So yeah, if you have various types of charcoal, I would suggest to play with those. To get different values as well. It's really nice for what it's worth. I'm enjoying having like a plan, but also not really a plan. I'm just going with erasing back some of this dark marks that I had put in is really nice. I quite like that.
Charlena, what
Mhm.
about Conte crayon?
Yeah, you can use Conte. Conte has a little bit sharper, like you can get finer marks with Conte. And if you have a stick, you can use it on its side. You're welcome to bring in soft pastel, but I would smudge it out just so it's not super dusty before bringing in watercolor. Charcoal can be really dusty too, so it's not like you have to smudge it out, but it's not good to have a lot of powder sitting on top. Yeah, Conte's similar to pastel, like a hard pastel. It has clay in it, so it has more strength, similar to how carbon has more stability than charcoal because it has graphite in it.
I enjoy Conte. I don't really know what I'm doing with it, but I
It's
like
just a drawing. It's a drawing tool. Don't think of it being fancy. It's
no.
it's just a proprietary name, Conte Paris, because it's a formula, but it is just an original drawing stick. You know, after charcoal, it was like, oh, we now can do color. Here's sanguine and sepia and white. And so it became really popular in the Renaissance. But it's just like one of the first colored drawing crayons. It's not like a wax crayon, it's in the middle. So it sounds fancy, but it's not. Don't share this recording with Conte of Paris.
I think that's why I like it, is the colors that it comes in.
Oh, do you have which ones do you have?
No, I'd have to pull them out. But they're earthy colors.
Yeah.
That's what I have. The earthy. Yeah.
Is the classic. I used to do a lot of work in that palette. It's timeless. It's beautiful. Yeah, I understand, babe. Okay, I'm going to say another 5 minutes. Just like we can still draw and whatnot, but just like 5 minutes, and then I'd like to demonstrate some water applications, and we can go from there. I feel like I'm craving color and I want it now. Oh, there's. And it might actually, here I am saying don't leave dust, but for for what it's worth, it's not a bad thing to understand why I'm saying that and leave some dust. Hmm. So if you've been smudging, maybe leave some areas where there's a little bit of density to the pigment, so that you can really get a feel for how that mixes with the watercolor. Ooh. One reason why I bought this poplar wood is because of the color. It's slightly green. And so it was before I moved, and I remember someone saying to me, "Why are you buying a box of wood before you move? You're moving to the country. Just go get wood when you're there." And I was like, "Listen, shut up.
Mhm.
I need this wood right now." It's just like going into an art store and being like, "But you don't need it." But it's like, "But I do." And I was like, "Don't tell me about how, like, 'cause this box was heavy, and it's like, no, I need it. Don't put me in that situation where I have to choose. I want this panel. I need it." And I made a whole bunch of excuses for it. But I'm glad that I did, because like I would have forgotten about it. It's like sometimes just when you like something, you need it. There's a reason for it.
Because
Well, I didn't know a need had to come into it, Sharlena.
I agree. I want it. That's it. Period.
Right.
Yes. So I'll just bring this, and I'll just, if it's okay to put your pencils down for just a couple of minutes, just to show this up close to the camera so you can see there's like some erasing
yeah.
parts. There's a very subtle grain in this. Does anyone have really like obvious grain? This one's so subtle.
Can't tell if you can see.
Ooh. Oh, that's taking that charcoal just beautifully. I love it. I can't see the grain, but I can definitely feel the the connection between the charcoal and the wood. It's really happy. You got great smudges, and the racing looks good.
Started erasing and it is fun.
Yes, obsession. Does anyone else want to share? That looks great, April. Betty? Ooh, I love it. Yes.
Charlene, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's different in Canada or not,
Yeah.
but when you talk about birch panels,
Yeah.
some of these panels I've had for a while, but you talk about birch, is that what most of the panels are that I see? I get a lot of stuff from Dick Blick, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Are those birch?
Yeah, like commonly in North America, it would be birch.
Birch.
Because it's light.
Right.
It's lightweight. So there are other wood panels. I'm actually, being in the States, it's possible Dick Blick's has maple and other wood
Oh,
surfaces, because when I was more privy to, getting materials, doing the trade shows and whatnot in the US, there were a lot of other types of wood, but the more common ones, because of whether it's weight or affordability, would be birch. And I do recall seeing maple here and there. which would probably be more expensive. There's bamboo panels, which, you know, here and there, some of you might have seen. And that is, that's a bit of a tricky one because it's a veneer, but you can draw on it. I have. But yeah, it would probably be birch
Okay.
or maple.
Mine is pine, so I don't know how
Ooh.
the. I think it's because it's just like cheap. Like I got cheap ones, so because I've never really drawn on wood before, so I didn't want to.
Where'd you get it?
Michael's.
Oh,
And
really?
it's
Okay.
and it's pine. Okay.
So like there's on sale, like 6 for under $40,
Okay.
and they're
Oh, that looks amazing, by the way. It looks like birch to me. So that's great that pine, birch, kind of interchangeable. Look at the erasability. The the instead of a racy piece of wood, it's an erasy piece of wood.
Right.
But it looks like the same color and everything that birch
there's
is.
not a lot of wood grain to it, so maybe that's but it is what it is.
There isn't on the birch either, on some of the birch that I have. I mean, it's faint. I mean, it's there, but it's very faint.
And that is a thing. You can go in and look at a dozen pieces of panels in an art store, and only a couple of them will have really distinctive wood grain or a knot or something that you can choose based on the grain going forward. Carol, what are you using?
Just a little panel, and I'm not sure what wood it is. So it's one of those raised.
Lovely placement. And is it erasing well?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is actually.
Good. It's probably birch. Is it light?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
it is light.
Yeah, that looks fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
I can show you mine.
Yeah. Ooh, nice angle.
Yes.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
your placement. Oh, that looks awesome. Great. These are okay. Sometimes, you know, I come up with ideas of projects and I'm like, okay, I just like really hope it works out. Yes,
And this one is.
it is.
And we're having fun.
Delighted. Well, because there's something to be said about like not overcomplicating things. And I was told 20 years ago, like, don't give too much or don't go too fast or don't like make it so complex. And I always felt like even though I tried to do that, it's not that I failed. It's just like with mixed media, it's a tough thing to try and keep things simple. You're always like, okay, bring these things, and you're surrounded by a whole bunch of options, and I'm already like, okay, overwhelmed. Not in a bad way necessarily, but when I think about some of the classes that I've been doing lately, the reference photo has had very little impact because it's been more of an exploration of what's in front of you, and I really, really want more of that. I want more of the experience of the surface in yourself. Esther, would you like to share, and then I'll get into watercolor? Nice. Oh my gosh, girl, yes. Tangled.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what I'm working on. It's a piece of wood. I don't know what it is.
That is uncradled birch.
There you go. Now I know.
Yes, and that is the kind of panel I was saying I love. And with water, it now that one looks a bit thick, and that's good there are, so just, something to be aware of for everyone now that you saw that lovely panel that Esther's working on, is you can get, there's, it's kind of like some of the art stores that have sold uncradled panels tend to get wood that's almost like balsa wood, which is a no-go, okay? That is like not for painting on. It's for model making.
Oh,
Right.
Because you can score that wood and cut it up to make little fine architectural things. So that's where I'm glad to see, and I have also experienced it, that hopefully the norm is that it's a little bit thicker to be able to take the paint and the water and whatnot. So I don't see you having any issues, Esther. Just keep in
Well,
touch. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I won't be using this moving forward. Dan is all excited about going out and getting some wood.
Yay. Collaboration.
Yeah,
I'm
and
happy
I
to
don't
hear
know
that.
that he's going to get it at an art supply store. He's all like, very excited about this. So,
Good. Tell him he can get it wherever he wants.
yeah.
The links I painted on was one of the very thin modeling boards.
Yes. Okay. And that was
Oil.
okay because it was oil. Yes.
And it's going to be in a frame, and it's going to be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Actually, those uncradled panels are really good in regular frames. Like you don't need to have glass necessarily. You can, but the depth of a picture frame, that little inset where the glass goes into, is like perfect for those uncradled panels. So there's a lot of pros and cons to things, and I really like the uncradled ones. So the only thing my only cautionary thing is just when you're using water, what happens with wood? It warps. So that's the only thing, is just let's not drench our surfaces. So I didn't put this on not that I kind of gave you a material list. I said it's open media, but if you do have access to a spritzer, that is a good thing to have. So sorry I didn't heads up on that, but having like a little spritzer bottle is good. But you don't need it. It's not like you have to have it. So I'm going to come in with some color and just demonstrate this so you have an idea of what to play with, so we can look at how the grain either resists or stains. I'm going to use this size and how the charcoal mixes into it. So I'll use a color that is obvious about this sepia. Okay, and I'm going to come in, and immediately this poplar, I'm realizing, is not absorbing in the way that a birch panel does, and that's kind of cool. I will say there's, just like watercolor on paper, you can either take pure water and make a mark and then drop some color in and kind of play with drip, like moving the pigment.
okay.
You can just go in with color on your brush and move it around. And then the strength of how much of the actual paint you load up in your brush. So this is quite a bit. I'm really getting a lot of pigment in there. So there's more pigment ratio to water that will be a stronger color when it dries. Now, watercolor is a bit tricky for those who don't use it regularly. It dries lighter than what you see when it's wet. So I'm going to suggest for this first layer, keep edges maybe soft. Oh, it's up to you, but or play with hard and soft edges. While the color is damp, you can come in. Let me just get another color here. something more. Something darker. So while the pigment is damp, you can take a brush that's clean. So I've taken the pigment off, and I can come in on an edge and just soften an edge. Otherwise, you'll see that edge, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just so you know how to get different brush strokes out of this.
The pine seems to spread.
Okay.
Like it doesn't stay where you put it.
So try your next stroke in a dry area on the board. Really load up some pigment. So you have water on your brush, but you have more pigment ratio, and then see if you get a line that, because it's not going to bleed out so much. We'll see. Because I have also had wood that is you can't control it at all. So it could be one of those. And if that's the case, then have fun with it. Now, and we can't do that in class, but so let's say you have more of those pine panels, that would be a really good reason to then prime or use a clear gesso or dry media ground or a PVA glue. There's just like some papers are not meant for watercolor, they're meant for printmaking and not getting wet. So similar idea.
Mm.
I'm going to just make a suggestion because that's all it is maybe leave some of the wood without color and without, I mean, not maybe, yeah, just without color, like that the color of the wood is a color in your piece. So if you have gouache, you can build up to, or you can use gouache in areas where you want opacity. You can also just wait. Actually, you don't even need to let the watercolor dry, to be honest. You can use, say, pastel pencils or charcoal right back into it. So giving that a try. But gouache is quite lovely. I'll just kind of go a little closer. This is actually almost the color of the wood, but just to, have a little brighter edge, I'm using a bit of gouache, which is also very friendly for, coming in and drawing over top of it again. Throughout the weeks, I'm definitely going to be exploring all media, just as a little heads up, because I will be using oils. I don't know which projects for what, but I think there's good learning in seeing a demo for all of them. And then acrylics for sure. Ooh, splatters. Ooh, I like this color. What's this color called? Oh, just burnt sienna. Okay. Or plain old boring burnt sienna. It's amazing. It's just like the way that burnt siennas are different between companies. Beam really has a beautiful one. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, my watercolor is like traveling up the lines of the grain.
Oh yeah.
You
Let
see?
me see. I'm just give me 1 second. Oh yeah, love that. Yeah, go with it. Isn't that kind of exciting?
Oh yeah.
So I love I do know that feeling of like, okay, wait, I put down a stroke and now it's spidering out. Uh, so at least you know that your stroke's going to be larger. You can maybe in one area just wet a whole one area and then just start dropping color because if it's going to bleed anyway,
Mm-hmm.
go with that. Not that because again, you don't have to have it so out of control, but it's kind of interesting to let it be what it is.
Yeah.
Is that echo gone? Oh, sorry. Like I still have this echo and I shouldn't. And it really is driving. Like it's okay, but it kind of drives me nuts. Yes, disconnect. Is the echo there? No. Look at that. 3/4 of the way through our class and my phone actually behaves. Yay. It's like fine, whatever. Well, I did say we were going on a ride, but yes, it involves tech too. So I just put in some vibrant color and I thought, you know what, I'll let it be. I'm not feeling it, but instead of wiping it off, I can let that dry and I can always calm it down with charcoal or pastel afterwards. So just being in the spirit of like trying something and not taking it back, just letting it be part of the whole. Yeah, the color yellow on top of charcoal makes a beautiful green.
So you're bringing color into the tree now? Or
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna probably do more on the outer realm because of it being, mixed things. And I want to bring in out of these oops, sorry, spotlight. Out of these little tapas things, I really would like to bring in lichen because I like lichen a lot. And I really like these little noodly alien mushrooms.
oh yeah.
And I took this photo of the spider web, and I thought that would be pretty cool if so. There's already color built up, but then at the end, just come in with some pastel and make it like barely there, a little spider web in an area. So I thought I'm actually not thinking about all that stuff right now, other than the color palette, and that I really wanted this sort of color palette personally because that's how I was thinking this morning. So that's more of like I have to get my gouache out to get that lichen color.
Right.
And I was craving teal. Like I need teal.
I have that light one out too.
Gouache looks so nice on this. Oh, splatters look like lichen. Splatters look like lichen. Check it out.
Oh, wow.
Very
That just looks like lichen.
Love it. Love that.
I love this color. This is Beam. It's gouache. They called it robin's egg.
Mhm.
Mm. So she's being a good DOG, but I don't want to say it or else, oh no, it'll backfire. Murphy's Law. I took him out for a really long walk today, and because it's been raining so much, the creek is there again, and it's like at the back of the property. And usually it was dry. Like it wasn't a creek. It was just grass all summer. So now it's back to a creek, and I have some really funny video of because he's never seen it before. He didn't know about it, and he was so hesitant to step in. Like it's super shallow, you know. And it was so funny how hesitant and scared he was. Oh, he's taken off because he's like, "You're making fun of me." But I was like, I have to go back in. I got to get ready. And he was like, "Nope. It's too interesting outside, Mom." Hi. Did I just jinx myself? Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down, baby. Oh, okay. Hi. You say hi?
Oh,
You say hi to everyone? You say hi. Is that my brush? It's because I'm working. Yeah. Excuse me.
He's so cute.
Yesterday, he was really sucky and just wanted to like cuddle all day. And I guess today is also a continuation of it. And how can I resist, right? Hi, silly circus dog. You trying to be a circus dog? Yeah. You have to go upstairs. Just something to note about golds. They're like any metallics or mica. Sometimes a watercolor will be called like a metallic watercolor, but sometimes it'll say there's mica in it. It is hard to draw on top of after you've put down mica. There's something about mica being like almost like think of glitter and how they're mylar flex and glitter. So it's not, it's almost like better as a final accent as I add it in now, because I'd also like to maybe experience that again or demonstrate it. Like it does depend on how thick you put it, but I was like, oh, I'd really like some gold in there, but sometimes it's better to be patient um, when you're, say, maybe not when you're experimenting, but oh my gosh, is it ever gorgeous as an accent? Like, is this that on? There's like, where is it here? It's hard to see. Dun, dun. So sometimes how I place things in a like composition where it's just evolving, I'll look for an area where something fits, like, oh, this mushroom could work here. There's already a space for it or a shape for it. And it doesn't even need to be looking like a mushroom, but just the idea, the feeling of it as I'm adding color and which directions my lines are going. So just to not stress out really about like where something goes, just to allow something that feels right, makes sense, perhaps already becoming it. Ooh, this is like just a slightly different blue than the one I was using, and it's nice to have the mix. Nice. Um, Daisy, I'm just curious, after an area that dries, that when you first put it down, try another pass. I'm just curious if it's say already set the wood and you'll have more control a second round.
I've tried that. It doesn't seem to. Like there's a more
Okay.
concentrated pigment of it, but it still spreads.
Okay.
So I'm trying some gouache right now to see how that works.
Yeah, bigger pigment particles probably make a difference. But yeah, so that's good. You know, like maybe at some point it's like, okay, we'll talk about putting a ground down so that's your base, and then you can still keep working on it. I'm going to suggest to turn your pieces around so you can, just give yourself a different perspective. In about 10 minutes or so, we're going to talk about surface prep for next week if you need it. Because if you don't, you'll get to decide. And it may be that throughout the week you message me and be like, well, here's what I was thinking. And I will just like either confirm, yes, it's a good plan, or help you source something so that you can achieve whether it's more control or just a different experience. Yeah.
Should we wait to know whether or not or what photograph we're going to be using?
Next week, there. Okay, well, I haven't chosen it, but I'll show you an example of Klimt's work of something I will be looking for. Wait a minute, maybe I do already have it. Hold on. Um, oops, sorry. Well, we could decide together. How about that? Here's a photo that Kelsey took, and I've been dying to do it. And you could do the whole thing, or I was going to possibly just crop in and just focus on like the bottom part. So that is one option. Look at what I cropped out of here. Look at those toes. Sorry, I'm a hopeless dog mom now. Here's another of that same series that Kelsey sent me, which I thought was very interesting with the light.
I think I'd love to do that in oil.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. And then it'll be charcoal and oil. Okay.
Yep.
Which I do want to show you something. Was there anyone else going to be using oil paints at all during this class?
No.
Sessions? No. Okay. This is a piece that one of my first pieces that I did actually, like I am in, gosh, how old was I? Maybe 20 or so. Or I was like, I'm going to do a series. I'm going to really focus on art in my life. This is oil on birch panel that was not primed, which is technically wrong because I didn't know any better. But as they say that, natural products rot each other. So like oil being linseed rots wood unless there's a barrier. This is held up pretty well. This is in a very beautiful charred frame that a collector had done for me because the series was called The Burnt Trees, Forest Fires. So this is charcoal drawn into oil paint.
Okay.
It's not thick oil, it's thin. So we're still talking glazes because it'll get way too messy if we get into thick, juicy, luscious strokes. I think there's maybe some white charcoal in here, but it was pretty much this stick because I was using this stick at the time. Some things never change. And you can see that the wood is fairly stable, although it's yellowed, but I did not prime it. So just because something says technically you shouldn't do it doesn't mean that, and like if you're okay, I was open, if this ended up deteriorating. Just something to note that I've been playing around with this combo for quite a long time, trying the do's and don'ts.
I have
yeah.
3-in-1 gambling product that they just came out with, and one of the things that is you can use it to prime wood and then oil paint over it, and that's what I did for the links. So
yeah,
I like
good.
it.
Yeah, you'll have to, as you go forward, just share for me and everyone, because I have not used it, and possibly I would be interested in getting it, but there's like Gamblin has like a PVA sizing as well, which is basically just like a watered down glue. So I'm curious as to how that's different.
Yeah, and how charcoal would work on the PVA.
Well, it'll sit on top.
Would it stick to it?
Yeah, probably. It's a good question. I do not know because I have not used PVA. I just know about it.
Right.
Like I would in that instance, for oil painting, I would use a clear gesso or a dry media ground because I know that charcoal works on it.
Right.
That's not to say that the other ones won't work. It's just that I haven't had the material to test it out.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking of the clear gesso for the charcoal.
Mm-hmm. So we're kind of at a point where I'd like to talk about surfaces, even though as soon as I say brushes down, I'm like, no, I need to make this other mark. I don't want to.
The rebel in you.
It is so freaking typical that, like, really, I need to say, oh no, we can keep painting all afternoon, and then I'll be like, wait a minute, no, we gotta talk about other things. I'd love to, normally I'm not so in a rush to go, but today I do have to leave at 12 because I have an archaeology game at 1, which some of you are part of, and if you're not and you want to come, just let me know. It's $15. It's just wonderful creating, but I understand if you have other plans and you're not just going to stay in the studio all day. Totally get that. Oh, when you start introducing a color that is like really making everything work. That's what I'm feeling right now. Dry brush is also really nice. You don't always have to do it really wet. You can dry brush with watercolor. So if you like watercolor on the surface, you can continuously use watercolor. That's cool. And then same with acrylic. If you want to use acrylic, then you do not have to prepare your surfaces. But if you're using oil, I'm going to suggest clear gesso. I'll show you what a panel looks like with the clear gesso. And, you can use watercolor on gesso as well. So that might be something, if you haven't done that, to try. So even if you like watercolor, you can use. So this is it's like I'm showing an invisible man or woman. There's gesso on here, but it looks just like the wood because you can't see it.
Oh.
I can see a couple of strokes in there, but yeah, I think that using some kind of seal or preparation for the wood so that you can still see the wood is key here. Inspired by nature and wood in of itself. So this is dry media ground, which has a really wonderful tooth. You can paint on it. It's not ground that likes to get super wet. So it is best for, like, if you're going to put down a ground which has a sandpapery feel, you only need a thin layer, and you can then add acrylic washes on top, but it is not as stable as a clear gesso. This can sometimes reactivate depending on how long it's been given to cure. And with a week of prep, like if you prepped a surface with the dry media ground, or sometimes called a pastel ground, you'd probably be okay. So if you've used this before and you really like it, that could be wonderful to use. If you haven't used it and you're curious, you could try it, but it's not necessary. I would say one of the things in your studio that's worth having is a clear gesso. It's really great for lots of things, not just to prepare a surface. It is translucent. It's not 100% transparent, so it does create like a bit of a veil mistiness on your surface. And the alternative to all that, let's just say you don't want to buy, let's just say you don't want to buy anything and you're like, Shar, what can I use that I already have? If you had a matte acrylic medium, You could use that to prepare wood.
Okay.
I wouldn't use gloss. Semi-gloss could also be okay, but generally something that's matte has a matting agent added to it, and that creates absorbency or a tooth to some extent. You can do a watered down PVA glue. In that situation, if you're not buying a product that is called a PVA size or sizing, I would suggest you water it down so much so that it really absorbs into the wood and doesn't create like a top coat situation, so that we still have some absorbency, just not as much. For example, what Stacy was sharing, and that her wood was totally bleeding, spider web, is that say on the back of the panel or whatnot, if you wanted to do a little test, put a little bit of watered down white glue or a PVA size, and then just let that dry, and then see if that helps having more controlled brush strokes. So maybe that's next week. I was going to suggest that we have a wood support panel with some sort of preparation on it so that we could feel the difference. So it doesn't matter which one you choose. It could be a clear gesso. It could be a dry media ground. It could be another kind of sizing product. There's also one of the golden GAC products is good for preparing. The thing is, there's so many brands and products out there that so I want to give this umbrella. If you go through your studio and find something, just ask me. Maybe take a picture of it and message me and say, hey, what about this? I'd prefer that than you running out to the store and buying something, because like you probably have something you can work with all the shopping you've done. I know. Listen, I know you guys. Okay. Can try and hide from yourselves. But I can see into your studio.
In your boudoir.
Yes. Yeah, I think again, it's not so this is a very similar situation where you're preparing something for absorbency. We want to be able to work without it being like a skating rink. So absorbency and some tooth are key. And that's because I wanted to play around with different media. So charcoal is my favorite combination with paints. But if you like ink, ink is a really wonderful option for using with watercolor. Acrylic ink could be something fun. Yes, again, I said yes, pastels and whatnot could come into as a dry media. So like say pastel pencils instead of charcoal, if you want to get a little more colorfully. Let me show you that Klimt, the forest floor that he did. I showed it in a class recently with the Berry Art Group. We were doing a course called Beyond Green. And so Klimt did a bunch of forests that were really just spectacular, but so beautiful. And this is kind of what inspired this project for the forest floor. It's these two. Oh, this one. Oh, there's more. If you search Gustav Klimt birch forest, you'll see there's other ones. But just the idea that this isn't something I wasn't thinking about focusing on the sky. I was thinking about focusing like you're entirely engulfed in the forest.
Oh, wow. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
Love it.
And this was a photo that I found online really quickly to show of like, okay, well, this is what a camera sees, and this is what Klimt showed. So, I mean, I could very well send you that slideshow page, and you could reference this bird. We could we could do that. But then I'll also include the other one because it's a new photo for me that I've been sort of craving, and they're similar enough. I think we can you can choose one or the other. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Birch, and then the other one's more of just like pine, which I like. And the other one, I'll just bring that up again. I liked these horizontal lines
Mm-hmm.
a lot. So they're, different vibe. And I like the
Shadows.
the light on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the birch one is not so about the floor, but it's just that image that isn't. So maybe I'll look for something that has a bit of the floor as well. I mean, in that I'm just looking at Google. So, but let me find a photo for you guys. If you find your own, that's cool. I also wanted to just make a mention that at some point during our class, in our sessions, I'm going to play with Dorland's wax medium as a top coat because I am really curious about this stuff and I haven't played with it nearly enough. And I think that this is a really great opportunity to have a wonderful like finish.
I love it.
And you've been using it? Yeah.
Just
What
love
was the
it.
name of that, Sharlena?
I'll spotlight it for you. It's the brand is Dorland's.
Okay.
It's cold wax, but this is a bit different, slightly different than, say, like Gamblin has cold wax. And this doesn't seem as thick. And it may be similar, but like I've tried doing, like this has been, how I purchased it is it was recommended to varnish watercolors. So when a watercolor is very cured, and that means like, the next day, right? Like the paper is dry and you're not able to go in and start, reactivating it. Then you put this down and then you buff it.
Yeah.
And it creates like a varnish. And I've used other cold waxes where it was thicker and more like you're supposed to mix that in with your oil and use a palette knife. And so, it's cold wax, but just to say that my experience so far is that this brand has made it to be really nice and smooth, a little bit softer. So I haven't hardly touched it. So I got to get into that personally. So I'll either experiment for you, or if you have this, you can just have it handy that I'm going to be breaking that out.
So then you wouldn't have to put glass over it.
That's right. Yes. That's how it got really popular. But you can use it as a varnish on absolutely anything. It can be, here, what does it say? Waterproofing protective top coat for watercolors, gouache, acrylics, oils, and more. Seals artwork against moisture and protects against smudging and dust. Increases color depth and provides a uniform matte finish for paper, canvas, wood, plastic, metal, photos, collage, clay. This was small font. It's very small. And other dry media, including alcohol. Oh, you can use alcohol inks to tint and get special effects. Mix with oil colors to thicken for like the cold wax painting techniques. It resists cracking and dries faster. Like if you add this to your oils, it'll dry faster than out of the tube. So yeah, really interesting product. I don't know if other cold wax brands can do the same thing.
Okay.
I might have to look into that just to have a bit of knowledge, but I'm open to experimenting and supporting you if you want to introduce various things. So I think next week I'm going to use oils. Okay. There is a reason for that. I haven't been using them much and I'd like to.
And what do you prepare the surface with?
I'm just going to do clear gesso.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But I will, for whatever it's worth, I will be able to walk anyone through for acrylics. Okay, so acrylics, you just need water. I would suggest a polymer, always to have a polymer, and I'll talk about that, about making your own mixture as you build up layers. But I think it's fair to say I'll be using charcoal and oil. And so think about, maybe I'll make you a list and I'll send you a list with the recording. I'll make a list and say like, hey, here's the dry media that I've used and I know I can help with. And then if there's anything outside of that, then just hit me up and be like, hey, what about? Let's share. Let's start the next class with a share. Okay. Because I've been blabbering on and it's 12. So you have some time to work on things, and I will be in touch by tomorrow with the recording and notes. And then I'll see you. We're doing every Sunday this month, which is great. It's a nice consistency. So I'll look forward to my Saturday mornings with you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlene.
Thanks, Sharlena.
Have a great day.
See you in an hour.
Yes. The art games. Woo!
Thanks, ladies.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.